What's up? What's going on? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Let's get down to the situation. Let's talk about Jonathan Major. Jonathan Major, major announcement. Marvel announced that Jonathan Major, once considered to be the future of the next phase of their extended movie universe, has been dropped by the studio after he was found guilty of harassing and assaulting his ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari. He went back saying he's still looking forward to clearing his name. And also, Jonathan lawyer states that, he's going to probably appeal the decision. So we shall see how that situation is going to go down. British dancer Grace Sturdy said she suffered excruciating pain when the star stuck her on the head and broke her finger in the back of an SUV after she saw a flirty text messages from another woman on his phone. Let's get into it. Jonathan Major found guilty of assault, harassment. The verdict was reached Monday by a 6-person jury after over 4 hours of deliberation spread across 3 days. The actor is set to be sentenced on February 6th. The New York jury found Marvel actor Jonathan Major guilty of reckless assault in the 3rd degree and guilty of harassment. In addition, on 2 other charges, he was found not guilty of intentional assault in the 3rd degree and not guilty of aggravated harassment in the 2nd degree. So she's saying that while they was in the vehicle, he had attacked her because she took his phone and was trying to get information or trying to find out or maybe trying to respond. And that's when, he assaulted her allegedly. So you got this whole situation going on. I'm like, OMG. Then as you see right now, he was trying to put her back in a van or in the SUV and trying to place her in there like she is a child. And it stated that he did that because she was trying to run out there in the street, okay? And she could have got injuries from him trying to pick her up and picking her up and forcibly placing her back into the SUV. She could have got injured there, but he's saying that he was helping her. And also, when it comes to Major's lawyers, his lawyer states that inside the SUV there was an altercation because his coat was ripped, and the driver that night basically states when it comes to Grace, the girl, she was the one that was aggressive. She was the one that was doing all the moving. She was the one that seemed to be angry and mad and loud and things of that nature, and saying that Major, was the calm, cool, collected, and he didn't see anybody put hands on anybody else. So this is a whole crazy situation. I would have let the girl have my phone, told the driver down 911, and then I would have sat right there. See that SUV right there? I would have knocked on that window, saying, can you please call 911? She could take my phone, whatever the case, do whatever the case is. She won't have no bruises, she won't have no no lacerations or anything fractured. I put my hands behind my back and I would be at the crosswalk telling people to call 911, because this is a losing situation. So fighting for your phone, she gets injured, you are the big Hollywood star, so you're going down. So therefore sometimes you got to let him go. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. You just exit the car. She won. You want to wrestle and tussle, you wrestle and tussle and you get charges. And this is what happened in the whole situation. And as he was trying to leave the SUV, you have Grace grabbing onto him and trying to hold on to him, and he's moving her away. She could have got injured by grabbing him and him trying to push her away, get her grip hands off of him, and her trying to grip onto him. She could have hurt herself, but she's out here. She's a track star. She is running after this man. She wasn't going to call the cops. She wasn't going to call the police. She went out. She started drinking. People saying that she was using her right hand, whatever hand that she said was injured, making credit card purchases, drinking with the strangers that she met, or whatever the case may be. She went back to the crib, slept in the closet. She was probably trying to make up or trying to get, through the whole situation. Major called the cops because now he's thinking this is out of control. He's scared. He don't know what to do. And he called the police and they arrest him. That's like, child, when you call the police and you get arrested, that's like, okay, you know what? I probably shouldn't have called the police. And the New York district, attorneys, they filed charges against him. Grace did not file charges against him. So, and in the event, she did get on the stand and she did testify. So it's a whole situation going on with this, where his career is basically finito and done. Basically, you have to care about your career more than anybody else. And things ain't fair. And then a black man putting his hands on a white woman like that in New York, and then he's running around with $1 million in his pocket. There's people that want his spot. Like, he have to act well. He have to protect what he has. If he's doing this, like he said, for his community, he wants a woman to represent Coretta Scott King, Malcolm X's wife, Michelle Obama, then you must choose a woman like that. And evidently Grace wasn't that woman, because you wouldn't have to tell her and give her a lecture on it. And then on top of that, she's recording you as well. So this relationship seemed like it was very toxic for a while. And when you ain't being honest and you ain't being real, what you do in the dark comes to light. And if you're a major star like Major, you want to make sure none of your darkness come to light. So basically, you try not to do any darkness so it don't come to light. And when allegedly, if you are provoked, do everything in your power to make sure you look innocent. And in the video, people will say he ran, he tried to get away from her, he did this. It just wasn't good enough, because she got injuries. You know what I mean? He should have never touched her. Should have never placed her in the car. If she want to run in the street and play chicken, let her run in the street and play chicken with them cars. Your hands should always be by your side to yourself. Okay? I'm from Mississippi, and you got to know how to move around the KKK. So in any event, he got too comfortable. And he thought he can just push her away. He thought he can just rip her hands off him on camera. No. On his phone. For Major, the conviction could spell up to a year behind bars, along with the ruin of his Hollywood career, just as he was about to be tapped for an Oscar for his role in the unreleased movie Magazine Dream. Drew Grace back into the car as she tried to exit. The defense argued that he placed her back in the car to stop her from running into traffic. The action is captured on surveillance video, while the altercation inside the car was not captured on camera. The charges against Major were brought by the state of New York rather than by Grace herself. The case was a criminal trial and opposing civil, meaning that burden of proof is higher for the jury, who had to find proof of guilt beyond a reasonable doubt on each charge. The arrest already has implications of what had been the biggest year in Major's career, which includes starring roles in Ant-Man and the Wasp and Creed 3. Also, in the wake of his arrest, both his public city firm and also Managers and Management 360 dropped him, and the Disney-owned Searchlight Features removed Magazine Dream from the release calendar. In a statement after the verdict, Grace attorney hoped that this guilty verdict inspires other victims of assault. In addition, when it comes to Major's attorneys, they basically saying that Grace assaulted herself when she went back to the apartment, and that's why she took the pictures, because she injured herself. So there's a whole lot going on in this situation, but he's been found guilty. So we shall see what's in addition to the video surveillance footage, which also includes footage of Grace at the club. Evidence shown to the jury by prosecutors include photos Grace took of her bruised hand and laceration behind her ear while back at the apartment, and body cam footage from officers when they arrived. Prosecutors also introduced a series of text messages into evidence which could prove damaging to Major's reputation, as they pertain to severe alleged incident that happened during the course of Major and Grace's relationship. Prosecutors allege a pattern of abuse, which they said explained why Grace had not immediately told police officers that Major had caused the injuries. And one of the text messages between Major and September of 2022, Major appeared to be trying to discuss or trying to persuade Grace from seeking medical attention for an injury. How she sustained the injury was not discussed. They were not discussed, but it was said they will ask you questions, and and as I don't think you actually protect us, it could lead to an investigation even if you don't lie and they suspect something, Major wrote. These texts were initially deemed inadmissible, but then were able to be shown by prosecutors to jury members following a line of cross-examining questions from Major defense team that Judge Michael lacked pacification. Also played a recording Grace said she made of Major during a earlier argument in September of 2022 in which the actor accused Grace and also trying to shame Grace for drinking, and then returned to their home with her friend and said she needs to live up to the standards of Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama, and adding of himself, "I am a great man." Members of the jury were instructed to view this as background information rather than evidence of propensity to commit a crime. After the verdict was reached, if you ever find yourself in a relationship where you believe that it's not safe mentally, physically, or verbally, please remove yourself and go seek help. Talk to your friends and your family members. Never stay in a relationship where you feel unsafe, point blank, period. But in any event, this is a lesson learned. Be real, be concise, be consistent with whoever you are in a relationship with, especially if you got a lot to lose, that everybody's on the same page, and if not on the same page, then they can't be on your page. And always keep your hands to yourself. Never force anybody to sit down in a car, and be very careful if you try to retrieve your phone from your partner or from a friend or from anybody. If you are a celebrity and you got something to lose, because you can be charged and you can, face a year in jail and lose your career. So the moral of the story, if you got anger issues, if you get mad, if you get upset, if you are insecure, if you need therapy, go get counseling, go get help. If things tick you off and you don't understand certain things and you react to getting mad and angry, whether you believe your partner's cheating on you or not, whether you believe your partner's trying to destroy your life, go talk to a therapist, go talk to a counselor, because sometimes people got so much going on in their head, they be thinking they're doing a lot, but they're doing too little, and they make poor decisions. So in any event, y'all be safe, y'all be happy, and happy holidays to each and every one of y'all. So John